Okay, good evening. DK here with Mr. V Amps. Today we're going to be playing with my Echoplex. That's an Echoplex EP-3 they call them. It's a transistorized Echoplex. And I have it plugged into, although it's off, I have it plugged into the Gibson GA5T. That's a very, very bright amp, so it's going to exaggerate our problems. I don't yet have the Echoplex plugged into electricity. It is turned off. The amplifier here is turned up about 3/4 of the way, so that's about 8 watts of power. The first problem you'll get is when you plug the Echoplex into electricity, we get a hum. That's a ground looping issue. That can happen between two different devices that plug into AC power. And I have made a hum eliminator here. It still does provide safety if there's a short. There are some schematics and information you can find on the internet about them, but we can plug it in and now we have no ground loop. So those are great. Okay. That's the problem with our Echoplex right there. If I turn the echo volume up at all on account of the, which would be the sound coming from our tape head, I get that noise. Now obviously it's chronically exaggerated. This is more of a normal playing volume, but that's still aggravating. This device has had all of the electrolytic caps in it changed, so we probably either have something off with the voltages to the transistors or we have a transistor that's being a snot. But an Echoplex, mechanically this is in really good shape, but it shouldn't be doing that. So we'll put it on the bench, pop it apart, and see if we can work some magic on it. So let's take a look at our schematic. We're interested in this area up here. Our tape heads are over here, and then out of our tape heads we come up, run through a capacitor. This could be a possible culprit. We'll check that out. What is this anyway? One? Okay, one mic? Maybe. One mic. Could be. One mic is a lot. Whatever. We'll look at it, see what it actually is. And then we come to Q1 here, which is a TIS98. Should be a standard NPN transistor. And we go over to Q2, which is also the same NPN transistor. And then we come to the this right here, the playback. So we're coming through this playback loop here, so when I turn this up, that's where I'm getting the noise, so it should be over here somewhere, I think. So let's see if we can zoom in on that. Maybe that'll help you out. Try to not shake the crap out of the camera. So we're coming off the echo heads and we're coming up to here. I'm thinking it's something in that mess. So that's what we're going to take a look at. The standard general replacement that NTE recommends, of course NTE always recommends, for TIS98 is the NTE 123AP. Almost every one of these vintage NPN type transistors is supposed to be replaced with a NTE 123. It's like the standard issue thing. And I have another transistor I've used in place of something that would have substituted a 123 and it worked great. So we'll look through the bin and see if we can find something. We'll play around a little bit. Okay, so I've been tooling around in this for a while. These boards are incredibly difficult to get up and to work on, so there's no real good way to film this. I've changed these two transistors that were formerly MPS 8098, which I guess is the same as a TIS98. I've changed them with 5088 transistors that I had here That did not seem to affect the function. It still works real good. It's echoing great. But there's still quite a bit of noise, and I'm just poking around in here. I'm, just tapping on different things and playing around. And this cap right here is so damn sensitive. I mean, it's just through the roof sensitive. Put any kind of noise near it and it just goes bonkers. And I don't see any DC flowing through it or something. But I mean, even the voltmeter probe. Why is it doing that? I'm rubbing a capacitor on the outside. It's like this is like broken or something. Or the lead. Yeah. This right here is like, apparently the coating is open or something. Because there's an audio signal. I mean, it seems like the cap's seem but something just doesn't seem right about that cap. We definitely have the noise level improved. Significantly better. And this board itself loves to pick up noise anyway. So when we get it down away from all the fluorescence and things, it'll probably shut up. Let's just adjust the record level a little bit. Yeah, they do that. Depends on how hot your input signal is as to what you want to do over here. You put sound on sound, you can hear all my noise on the tape. But of course, if we turn the echo off by shorting that out, she goes nice and quiet. But we still have plenty of signal through here. So we still got a crap load of noise in our audio circuit. Somewhere. Still rooting around. These boards are really difficult to work on. Okay, see you in a little bit. So a couple of our changes have yielded good results, and I might continue this quest, but here's the next experiment. Sorry for the noise. I do have cables plugged into it, and it's picking up noise through the cable and all that jazz. Let me just pull the cable signal out here. So now all we're hearing is the Echoplex is making noise here. By this point it would have gotten completely and totally unbearable. I've got the amp turned up, so it's not nearly as bad. So let's try to make the noise really strong. And then I've just got some ordinary aluminum foil here. We're going to just hold that against the case here, and then we're just going to try to cover that up like a Faraday cage. And the noise level actually does drop. There's a new buzz. Cover that. The second we get it grounded, it shuts up. So my hand gets over here, buzzy, 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 quiet. Buzz, quieter, much quieter, much, much quieter. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm still going to fish around here and play a little bit more. But I think I'm going to, in the bottom of the case, where it's not going to contact the circuitry or anything, I'm going to Faraday cage kind of shield the inside of the wooden case and then make sure it grounds down to the chassis here. And that should help with some of this sensitivity and noise, because that seems to be our biggest demon here, is this thing picking up all kinds of crazy noise. And this cap actually, this is like the most sensitive area right in there. And it's probably because it takes a lot of power to amplify a tape head, and I understand that, so there's probably a lot of amplification in there. And the 5088 transistors I used in there probably have even more boost than the other ones do. Yeah, there's plenty of power in there, and the lower levels and stuff, the noise is not nearly as bad. This Gibson amp being as darn bright as it is, I mean, being a ridiculously bright amp, it just exaggerates the noise. So if I shield that gets the noise down a lot. So we'll try shielding the cabinet. We'll put it back together. I have poked around in here a lot, and we have gotten better, but this area over here is just a haven for noise. We'll also try to adjust the positions of a few wires and see what we can do to quiet it down to the best we can. Shield the case, and then we'll see what our end result is. So our shield there is in place now. Hopefully that will help cut down some of the noise, and I've sort of adjusted a few positions of components in there to try to minimize the noise too. Yeah, that's a little MacGyver, but sometimes if you MacGyver something, instead of, you know, if I did this as a permanent solution, and then it didn't work, then I would have wasted a lot of time. So we're going to try the MacGyver method. This will hold solid, and if it works great and makes it more better, then we'll think of a more permanent solution than that. So we're going to put it back together. That Gibson amp being so trebly, I mean, if you were to plug a Telecaster in there and leave the tone knob open, it would just rip your face off with treble. That amp has exaggerated treble, so it exaggerates all the noise, and that's why I was using it for troubleshooting purposes. When we come back, I'm going to test this on just one of my other typical daily use amps. We'll try maybe something that is a little on the bright side, like a Vox, and we'll see where our noise levels are. There is going to be a little bit of noise because when you turn on a tape, there's a tape hiss, but hopefully we won't have all of that high-pitched whining that we had before. I'm pretty convinced it's better. Either that or my ears have just gotten used to the noise, and yeah. So anyway, see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I realize this is not the ideal camera angle, but I'm tired, it's late, and I want to go to sleep. There's our dry sound. It's a Rickenbacker, so it can get a little noisy. If you get right up in the amp there, it'll buzz, but I think we're cool. So we're going to bring this up to what I consider normal operating level. We get a little bit of noise, but that's more tape hiss than it is a bunch of other crap. So this is more manageable. It's still not as dead quiet as I would love, but sometimes you just take what you can. So this is just the Echoplex by itself. Okay, that's with one echo. Let's add like 3 or 4 or 5 on there, and we'll bring it up a little bit more. Okay, so perfect, not yet. I mean, let's see, there's up, playing loud. That's where our echoes are actually louder than our guitar now. So, I mean, under the position that you would normally use one of these into, seems okay to me. So we'll cut down our sustain to one strong slapback, and close enough for tonight, and I might be flubbing up my playing, I might be tired, I'm a lot of things tonight, but satisfied that that's improved is one of the things. So I'm sure a few of y'all have some additional ideas for it. If you do, great, share them in the comments section. We'll play with it a little bit more, but it seems like shielding it helped, and I think those transistors we've got in there with their different, they're a little bit different gain factor, but they seem to be totally compatible. I think those are a little quieter yet. There's still a couple more of those type in there. Maybe we'll go after those too, but it's time to call it a night. Have a great night. Take care.